All right, guys. Good evening. Thanks for coming out this evening. And I know there's a few others that are signed up, but if they come late, it's all right. We can get this started. So The first thing that I do is unmute you all and see how that works out. So in three, two, one, you're gonna say hello to each other. Three, two, one.
Hello.
Hey
Hello.
everybody.
Hello.
Hello,
Oh,
hello.
awesome. This sound works good. Do you
Hello?
hear any echoes from me?
No,
No.
everything's good.
You
Cool.
sound good.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody to our Tuesday evening session. I brought you here. Basically, the first session was all about how to really succeed and some tips for success and walking through the platform and getting familiar with where I put things and where you could find things. So if you haven't got a chance to check that out, I post all these recordings on the community discussion board. The community discussion board is always at the top of your activities. That's also where I post um, really cool shorts from all over the world and different students from all over the world that have won film festivals. Um, I'm big on that. I love sharing short films. Animation is definitely one of my things, and so if you get the chance, check those out. I know that you're extremely busy with making the commitment to come to school, and many of us, including myself, have responsibilities outside of school. I empathize with you guys. I've been where you are. I shared that little bit about me the last session. Um, I took my master's online and I was a full-time high school teacher, so I know time is precious. But that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you succeed the best way that I can. Just keep that open line of communication with me. Contact your peers. You have so many avenues to go through. There's so much talent that surrounds you, even in this online forum. Tap into it as much as you can. It's part of being digital literate is to not only understand the knowledge, but it's to pay it forward and teach it. So um, I hope to see budding relationships this month, and that they'll continue on throughout your entire program. I am also a campus instructor, so I really try hard to make this online experience as if you are on campus. So expect from me that I'm going to be as interactive as possible. I'm going to be active on the discussion boards and get back to you in a timely manner, and I hope that you do the same. Um if I was feeling better, and I apologize because I'm a little under the weather, if I was feeling better, I would definitely show my face so you knew that I was flesh and blood and I wasn't just a computer robot. I actually live and breathe. Um, but I get next time, we'll save that for next time. We can show each other's faces and show each other that we're real people. So that was my little review. And to go over the agenda for this evening, I wanted to discuss the Prensky article because that is in direct correlation with the first major assignment. Um, I'm sorry, the first activity, which is your digital identity. And we'll get into what that means a little bit further on in this session. Then I want to go over the major assignment, which is 1.5, Exploring Digital Literacy. And that really has to do with all the concepts. It is all the concepts that go with being um, digital literate, uh, digital literacy, the concept digital literacy, or as I'm going to introduce to you in week 3, what it takes to be a digital citizen. So the first week is really getting acclimated and used to the idea of what this whole digital literacy thing means. And then, excuse me, my throat is a little scratchy. Forgive me.
Hello.
I am here. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. Okay, and then I'm actually going to do a demo of this Web 2.0 tool called Digo. I know I've gotten a few questions already, which is amazing because I'm so impressed that some of you are already going into your assignments and taking a look at what has to be done and what has to be figured out. And really that is speaks volume of how successful you'll be in this class. If you take the time out to go into the platform at least once a day to check things out, see what the week is and review, the LMS or the learning management system that we have set up is amazing. It organizes everything. It lays out the week for you. It gives you a pace, and you really could get yourself situated with how much time you could spend each day um, working on the assignments or even connecting with your peers on the discussion board or connecting with me. So um, I'm very impressed so far that of how proactive this class has been so far, especially with the community discussion board. Yeah, I put that up as an extra added bonus for you guys to connect with each other, and I can't believe all the reaction to the first video that I shared, the how bad do you want it, and it's awesome. I feel your enthusiasm, I feel your excitement, and I also feel your anxiety. So yes, I'm here to help you. These sessions are great because it gives you a chance to be live and ask me questions, and also that it's recorded and you could go back and reference the recording, which is awesome. So don't fear, it's very possible to get this month done and effectively, just as long as you keep that open communication. Okay, so our discussion for this evening is digital natives and digital immigrants. Um, how many of you have read this article or looked at it?
Oh,
Yep.
my name is
I
Sylvester. I
looked
looked
at
at
it.
it earlier.
Yeah, I'm reviewing it. I haven't read its entirety, but I'm almost there.
Awesome, awesome.
I'm on
And
I'm on page
it's
4.
a long one. It's about a little over 8 pages, I believe.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. It's worth it, and that's really what our discussion is about. Mark Prensky pretty much starts off our class, being that uh, he talks about both natives and immigrants and this broad spectrum of either extreme and where we fit in this whole digital realm. I am getting some feedback. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute you for now, and then if
I
you do
can't.
want to
I
speak,
can't hear.
there is
Yes.
a button that you could press to raise your hand. Is that cool with everybody?
Trisha, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble hearing anything.
I can't understand. I hear an echo.
Okay, I'm gonna
I think
mute
the
and
callers
see if
muted
that works.
themselves.
Okay, so now I muted everybody's mic except mine. Is the sound better? You could type it in the chat box. Much better. Awesome. Okay, so yes, and we are getting a lot more guests that are coming in. So the more people that we have in the go-to session, the more chaotic it gets. But don't fret. Going forward, if you do have headphones work really, really well, and that keeps that echoing sound out. But for now, I'm gonna mute everybody, and then if you would look at your control panel, there is a yellow glove looking thing, and it has the red arrow on it. If you click on that, it will show me that you are raising your hand and you either want to speak or you have a question. So right now, let's see that everybody understands where that button is. And if you see the raise the hand button, please press it and let me know that you know where it is. Awesome. Okay, it looks like everybody's got it, unless you are just plugged in on a phone. Cool. Okay, so like I said, the first article was written by Mark Prensky in 2001. It, at first glance, that seems like it's kind of outdated, but the concepts are very relevant, especially very relevant to this class. And our discussion opens up, are you a native or are you an immigrant? And if you don't consider yourself either one of those, what would you call yourself, and explain? So again, Mark Prensky coined the term digital immigrant, digital native, which if and when you read the article, it's very broad. It puts generations into categories. So, um, if you had to choose, where do you find yourself leaning towards and why? Who is the brave one to go first? Anthony, awesome. Hello, Anthony. So nice to meet you. And now your mic
Hello.
is hot.
Nice to meet you, finally.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said now your mic is hot, meaning it's on.
Oh, okay. Great. Um, I would definitely consider myself a digital immigrant, at least a second generation. Um, I was born in 1984. I'm 30 years old now. Um, and when I was growing up, the internet really was not in every single household. And I remember going to school and along the way, classmates, they would, say, "Oh, we just got the internet," or it was very much a new thing. It wasn't in every single home, so it just wasn't the norm. Life was a little slower paced, at least at home, and you spent more time, you know, board games rather than um, playing on your phone or tablet or even video games. And you'd go outside and get the fresh air, rather than just sitting in your room behind a closed door and surfing the web or something. So I would definitely, but I mean, along the way, probably when I got to high school, I would say. I mean, that was definitely, changing, and it was more and more the norm. And now it's just the standard. So, um, but yeah, I would definitely consider myself an immigrant. I thought it was funny in the Prensky article how he talked about how the immigrants have kind of their old accents, and
Yeah.
so and some things are thicker accents. Some of the things he were naming, he was listing off. I mean, I had to giggle because I definitely saw those things in my family and even in myself for sure. So, but I'm not ashamed of it at all. It's just that's just how life is. So yeah,
And nor should you be.
yeah,
It's just when I listen to that, it just makes me exhale and this simple life.
yeah.
You know?
Well, and I still find myself just craving to get unplugged, if you will. And I
Mhm.
absolutely love to go camping, to go out for a weekend or longer if I can and just get, nothing but fresh air. Go to a remote place where the cell phone is not gonna, there is no service. I do that on purpose. And that's so that, we're not bothered and so that it gives our brains and our bodies just a chance to rest. And I'm not opposed to technology at all. It's great, and I wouldn't be in digital filmmaking if I was opposed to it, obviously. But it definitely, for all its advantages, I do look kind of out at my peers and some generations younger than me, and it seems like they're missing something for all the busyness. It just I don't know.
I hear what you're saying, Anthony, and I definitely agree. Especially, well, I mean, I technology is my thing, of course, because here I am, the instructor of digital literacy. But
Right.
part of being digital literate is, and you'll find this out when we go over digital citizenship, is that yes, we have the right to have all this access and to use all these tools effectively to our advantage, but we also have a responsibility to ourselves.
Right.
And part of that is unplugging and taking the time to unwind and remove ourselves. Nothing is good to do all the time. It has to
Right.
be in moderation. So like you, I make sure, and this is good to tell you guys, but on Sundays, I try to completely unplug and leave my phone home, leave everything digitally devices home, and go to the beach and go swimming and, just be unplugged. And you need that for yourself. You need to take that break.
Right.
So, thank you so much, Anthony, for being the brave one that went first tonight.
No problem.
And it's nice to finally meet you in quote
Yes.
unquote person.
Definitely.
Cool. Okay. Will anyone else like to comment on this discussion or the article? Does anyone think they're a native wholeheartedly, hands down? There's no immigrant whatsoever in you. Uh-oh, did I hit a nerve? I don't. The whole class went silent. There's no activity. Well, to tie this in with the first activity is the first activity is called your digital identity. And if you got a chance to go through the platform, and I'll take you through that a little bit, Again, my side looks a little bit different, but it's the same. I'm talking about 1.4 digital identity. And your initial post is coming up on Wednesday night, which is tomorrow. So by Wednesday night at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time, your initial post is due for this assignment. Now, if you need an example or you need something visual to give you the opportunity to think about what you can do for your identity, I have posted mine since Sunday. So if you want to go, you could look in to it. And then I believe one of your other classmates have posted. And really, this is yours. This is your chance to let myself know and let your peers know who you are in this digital realm. What makes you tick? Again, one of the major problems I have with the Prensky article is that he lumps the generations together, and he puts them in extremes. And not, Anthony, not to say that you were wrong by um, talking about the 80s and that you were born in the 80s, and that's usually what our mindset goes to, that because we're born in a certain time that we're more of an immigrant than we are a native. But sometimes it's not even that factor. It's not even the fact that we were born before the 1990s, or that we were born after 2004 when social media started to get big. It's all about choice. It's how we choose as individuals to evolve or embrace the technology that is before us. We know that it's ever evolving, and that it's going to be an ever evolving cycle. And we need each other. Both immigrants and natives need each other. Just like, and I usually ask my campus students, have you ever sat down with your grandparents? Have you ever sat down with your grandfather or your grandmother and you ask them to just tell you a story? And it's unbelievable the amount of experience that they have to offer. And that goes hand in hand with finding who you are. Um, so I put up this question, where do I fit in? And that's really what you have to ask. Um, oh my God, your great grandma is 101. Bless her heart. That's amazing. That is so amazing. Just think, it's gotta blow your mind to think that she has been on this earth for over 100 years, over a century, to know what she knows, to witness the changes that she witnessed. It's unbelievable. So in a way, for us to evolve successfully in the future, we need each other. And part of being digital literate is understanding and applying what you know, but also teaching what you know. So both parties need to teach each other to evolve successfully in the future. Um, and just you have to learn to appreciate and understand the past to be relevant in the present, to evolve to a successful future. And that's wholeheartedly how I feel. um so the first activity is really fun, and it's your time to use your craft and your creativity and come up with a term that describes who you are, and you have the freedom to illustrate who you are any way you can. So I decided that, since if I wasn't an educator, I would be a writer, and being a writer is kind of my hobby. Um, so I decided that I was gonna share that. I was gonna show that is my inner talent. That's my inner passion and desire. So I chose the spoken word, and that's what I shared with you all. And that's what I'm looking for when it comes to this activity. I want you to, one, talk about the Prensky article and how you felt. Allude to back to the article when you're writing your thoughts. You're gonna coin a term such as I coined the term digital adapter, and this really came from my master's study when I had to write my action research plan. um, I studied why teachers didn't readily use technology in their classroom, and there was three factors. One was fear, one was money, and the other one was time. Um, and I won't go into the whole study, but I found out that in order for me to speak to my students and really understand and appreciate where they are at, and for them to appreciate where I'm at, I have to be adaptable and teach myself, and therefore share those experiences with them, and vice versa. I said it the first day that we was together. I feel blessed to be an educator because I am a learner at heart, and I feel that I can learn as much as I can teach in a classroom. I can learn from my students. So, um, being an adapter is just being open to new knowledge and experiencing and evolving. So, that's what I'm looking for when you are describing who you are in the digital realm. Does that make sense? Do you think you could do this? Awesome. And no pressure, but this is one of my favorites. And if I repeat myself, I'm sorry, but I also have a campus class too where I give a lecture. Um, but this is really my favorite. I love to make my cup of coffee in the morning and just read over all the inspirational posts and get to know you. This is my way to get to know you and connect. I don't get to see you on campus. I only know what you write. I get to speak with you in go-to sessions. So really have fun with this and show me who you are, because I want to know who you are. I'm very curious, and I care to know who you are. So show me who you are. Okay. So that is 1.4. And that's the first thing that you should concentrate on. If you want a little lesson in time management, um, that 1.4 naturally comes before 1.5. And being that the initial post is due on Wednesday night, which is tomorrow night, I would concentrate on 1.4 and come up with your term, come up with how you can illustrate that term, start writing your post, and think about that. And then go into 1.5. The cool thing about these sessions is now that this is recorded, if there's anything that you forget that we go over, you can go back to the recording and um, go over the steps when as you're watching the recording. So it's cool in that way. So 1.5 is the major assignment for this week, and it's called Exploring Digital Literacy. So let's take a look at what the instructions are like. Now, quickly, I will go over where you can find these instructions, and I did this last night, but it's good for you to know. So on your side would be, you have an activities tab also, and you would just have to click into the assignment. Then when you click into the assignment, this is what you see. Let me show you. Okay, down here are all the assets, and you'll see you have instructions, rubric, the vocabulary list for this assignment. So everything that you need is right here, and this is what I have on the slides. Okay, so here are the instructions. You have this vocabulary list that we are going to take a look at in a minute. You are to create a DO account, which if you have gone on the platform, the 1.2 was a Google form for you to fill out your DO account once you make it. If you have not done one, it's okay because I am totally going to walk you through that this evening. I guess the first question I'm going to ask is who is familiar with Chrome? Google Chrome. And you could type it or you can raise your hand. Okay, that's okay. Kind of familiar. Okay. The reason why I ask, because Digo, the Web 2.0 tool that I'm going to introduce you to, for some reason really loves Chrome. And all its functions work fabulous in Chrome. So if you do not, for immigrants, it's okay. That's what I'm here for, and that's why you're in this class, Anthony. So don't worry, stick with me, and I will get you where you need to be. So the first thing you would do, and you don't have to do this right now because you could just kind of follow along, and then when you make your own accounts, you could go back into this recording and look back at it and do all the functions. So I guess the first thing that you would have to do is open up a search window, because if you don't have Chrome, you'll have to download the application. Do not worry, this doesn't cost anything. It's free. And it's ironic that you have to use Safari to get a Google search engine to get Google Chrome, but here you go. A faster way to browse the web, it's going to give you a pop-up, install Google Chrome. If not, just type in Google Chrome, okay? And will give you everything Google Chrome download. Doesn't take that long. It's very self-explanatory. I already have Google Chrome, so I don't need to take those steps, but I'm going to show you what the main thing I want you to know is the functions of Digo and how to set up your account. Okay, so the first instructions are log into your Digo account and create the Digo activity for this week in my library section. Create a new list called DGL vocabulary. Okay, so once we're in Digo, I'm going to show you exactly how to create that list. The main thing is over here. There are several different resources when you plug in any given name. The whole point of this month is to get you to sharpen your researching skills, get you to decipher between credible and discreditable information online, which is very difficult these days, especially with misinformation. Um, but we want to get you past the very first thing that comes up on a search. And look further, look for credible websites, look for um, educational entities or governmental entities. Um, look for those extensions that go away from the biased, in other words, or um, basically looking past the very first thing that comes up. 9 out of 10 of the times when you search a term, Wikipedia or some kind of wiki is going to come up first. Now, I'm not here to say that Wikipedia is not a good place to start or a good place to find information. It's just not credible in the sense that you can um, what's the word I'm looking for? Put it on your citation page or cite it in a paper. It's kind of that springboard that gets you started on your research. And Anthony, you are not alone, my friend. You are definitely not alone. I think we all do. Because if we want a quick question, if we want a quick answer to a question, if we want to um, conclude an argument or a bet, of course we're asking Wikipedia because it's easy, it's fast, it's quick. If we're watching a TV show and we recognize a character, um, we will look at IMDb, or maybe the first thing comes up is the Wikipedia on that actress or actor, and bam, we know who that is. Well, of course, that's from that guy from that show. Um, so we do rely on it, and don't apologize because although I confessed in the last session that I'm a former English teacher, um, I do not oppose it of Wikipedia. Can you would you be able to cite it in your research paper? No, absolutely not. But it's a great it's a great GPS locator, if you will. It's a great springboard to look to have a starting point on that map and research further. And get like if you scroll down to the end of a article in Wikipedia, it lists all the resources. So it's a great place to start, and I would not knock it, and I wouldn't knock yourself for using the tool. It really is a great tool. There's a lot of positives when it comes to Wikipedia, so do not be ashamed. I will not shame you. Even though I'm a former English teacher, I won't shame you. Okay, so let's get into Digo. Alright, so after you've done everything, you download Chrome, you looked up digo.com, and I'll put that in the chat box again. Digo.com is what you're going to search for, because that is the Web 2.0 app that you're going to get. This page is going to come up, and it's going to ask you how to get Digo Let or the Digo extension to your toolbar. Now, I already have it, but this is what we're going to be looking for, the Digo extension, available on Chrome. And then all you have to do is click on the Chrome, and it will take you to this page, and it's pretty much, if you ever added an app on your smartphone, It's pretty much the same procedure, and you would add to Chrome. Being that I already have Dio and I already have the icon, mine shows up already, and will look like this once you are said and done. It's a lowercase d in a blue box, and that's how you know you have the degolet function on your toolbar. Okay, so that's step one. Create a Digo account, which is very simple. It's just like when you set up a Yahoo account or a Gmail account. Very quick and easy and self-explanatory. And then you want to make sure that you get this little icon at the top. Okay, going back to the instructions. So the first thing said that we have to look at this vocabulary list, and we have to create a list within our library called DGL vocabulary. So this is what the list looks like, and there are 20 terms that you'll have to look for. And these are all digital literacy terms, themes, or concepts that are going to be interwoven throughout this entire month. And it's basically to give you that knowledge of what it takes to really be digital literate and absorb all the necessary knowledge that you need in order to be digital literate. Okay, so let's go back to Chrome. I'm just going to open up a new tab, okay, and let's do a Google search engine. Okay, there we go. We got our Google search engine. And going back to the list, let's take the first term for example purposes, and this is what you will be doing. So let's take the first term, which is digital literacy. Are you guys with me so far? Excellent. Oops. Okay, so we put the first term in, and this is actually what you're gonna do. So you put a term in. I chose the first term just for example, and then you get um, results. Okay, now, look at that. Wikipedia is actually second, and the first one happens to be a reputable university called Cornell University. So, what we're trying to do is to get you to look for resources like this one. So let's go into Cornell University. Okay, so it has an edu extension, which is very credible. Cornell University has a reputation. If it has edu extension, most likely it's reputable. There's credible information that goes on their website. And the edu is much easier to trust than a .com or even a .org, because sometimes .orgs could be very biased in depending on what their purpose is. Okay, so you've done your search. You've chose that Cornell University is pretty good, and you find this definition right here. Digital literacy is the ability to find, evaluate, utilize, share, and create content using information technologies and the internet. Well, To me, that sounds like it would help you in defining the term and having a pretty good resource. So, what you would do is you would go up to your Digo toolbar, click on the icon. I'm gonna move my toolbar over here, and it went away. Sorry. Click on the icon, and you're gonna see all these different functions. So you have this function right here, annotate. And annotate is really another word for highlighting or sticky note. You have the function to save this as a bookmark, which we'll go into. You have a screenshot function, which you will not have to know for this assignment, but in week 2, this is going to come in real handy. And then, oops, sorry about that. Then also you have share this page, which also is going to come in very handy in week 2 when you get into your groups. Okay. Then you can also go right into your library. There's several different functions. But for now, what I want you to focus on is getting your annotations or highlighting. So we're going to choose this highlighting tool. And my favorite color is blue, so I choose blue. I'm going to come over here and highlight this information and create a sticky note. Okay? Does this look very... the audio is going in and out. Do you hear me? That's not good. Now good? Okay, awesome. Sorry about that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Okay, so we talked about how this would be a great annotation for us to bookmark this page. So you're going to highlight the information, go up to the bookmark, and a drop down box appears. Here is the site information and the link. It's going to give the URL into your library, and I'll show you that in a minute. You want to make sure that it's not on private. If private is checked and you submit your URL for your Digo page, I will not be able to see anything in your library. Therefore, I will not be able to grade your assignment, and we don't want that. So make sure that this private is not checked, and that all your annotations and your bookmarks will be public. The other thing that you have to do is it asks for you to have tags in, for each bookmark, which the magic of Digo, it gives you recommended tags that all you have to do is click on them, and that's it. Okay, so now you have a couple of steps accomplished. You have your highlighted information that's going to appear as a sticky note. You have bookmarked your resource, and now you have to put your bookmark in a list. This is a very easy function. Right here it says add to list. Drop down, and since this is the first bookmark, you're going to select create a list. Going back to the directions, just so you know where to find them, it says in my library section, create a new list named DGL vocabulary. Okay, so our list needs to be called DGL vocabulary. add. Oops, I did a T instead of. I'll fix that later. I put in a T instead of a Y. Bad English teacher. Okay, and then you hit save. Okay, then where does it go? I don't understand. You'll go back up to your Digo icon, hit My Library, and that will take you right into your library. So there you go. You have the name of the website. You have your sticky note right down here, all the information that you acquired. You have your tags, and you have your list created, which I need to change that name. Okay. I'm glad that we're here, because this you also need to check. You have to go into your list, make sure all's correct, choose a category, it could be anything, and then make sure that it's public. If it says private only me, the same thing happens. I will not be able to read any of your entries. Therefore, I cannot grade your assignment. Save changes. So, okay, before I go any further, do we understand how to look for a term, how to highlight, how to bookmark, and how to add to a list? Yes, you must add tags every time, but they're there for you, so it only takes a couple of clicks, and you're good. So I got a couple of yeses. I got a no. Yes, it is a learning process, and don't worry. Don't worry. Um, I would say 2 to 3 tags. You don't have to go crazy. It's just a way to organize yourself. This is the beginning stages of using Digo. Um, so it's just getting used to all the functionalities of Digo. Yes, for your benefit. Absolutely. Can you change the settings to your bookmark and list once you made them? Mariah, do you mean making it public? Okay, yes. And let me show you that function. So, say you did your bookmark and you did your list and you want to check. You could go right into the bookmark itself, and this icon right here is edit. If you go into edit, you can check right here if it's private or not. You could also create a new list. You could add it to, if it's not already added to DGL vocabulary, you can make sure that it's added and save. Julio, it could be any category. It doesn't matter. It just asks for you to make a category or select a category. And you're very welcome, Mariah. So, are we good on this? And I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but Kavaski, if I hope I said that right. This is going to be recorded, so when you go and make your Digo account, and start your bookmarking process, you will always have this video to go back and look and play and pause and do the functions and play and pause and do all the functions. That'll be on the community discussion board probably by the morning. It takes a little while for the videos to render after I'm done. So most likely it'll be there in um, the morning. Okay, so if we're good on this, the very last thing that you have to do with Digo itself in setting up your page is add a section. Okay, so in your instructions, it asks you to add a section for each term and use the resources that you bookmarked to come up with your own definition. Okay? So first things first. You're in your library. Make sure that you're in your library because this won't show up on the home page. So click on the list that you created, DJ vocabulary, and then there is a gray bar at the top, and it has this button called Add Section. Add Section is going to give you the function of a section heading and a description. So your section heading is going to be the term itself. And since we did digital literacy as our first one, then we're going to call the first section digital literacy. With me so far? Cool. In this box, and I'm just going to type out what it's supposed to be so those at home watching this know exactly what should go in here. In this box is based on the resources that you have bookmarked. Create your own definition and example. Okay, so to make this section, you need the term as the header and you need your own definition. So based on the resources that you have bookmarked, create your own definition and give an example of digital literacy. Make sense? And of course you put add section. Awesome. Okay, and this is what your page should look like. Of course, there's going to be more bookmarks on there. There's going to be more sections, but essentially, this is going to be the setup. You are going to have your section header with your own definition, and then your resources listed underneath. Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes. Miss P, what do I need to get an A? Right? That's what everybody wants to know, right? Let's go over to the rubric. The rubric is your friend, and I talked about this in yesterday's session. There are many ways that you can accomplish any one assignment, and you may be the student that I was. I was a bit of an overachiever. If you're not, that's it's okay. You know, we all have our own responsibilities and we have things that we have to take care of. We have different goals, but it's set up that way. So the rubric is set up if you want to meet the standards and be proficient, or if you want to go above and beyond and be exceptional. So this is the difference between a high B, maybe A, to an A plus. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay, so let's go through the categories first. And these are questions that you can ask yourself to create a checklist. And I go over this intensely the first time just to give you tips on what you can do to be successful and organize yourself. So, was the Digo account created with the proper DGL vocabulary list? So that's going to be the first thing. The first thing, you want to make sure that you created a list in called DGL vocabulary. You also want to make sure that list is public, because if the list is not public, I will not see it. Therefore, I can't award you these points if I can't see it. And the next one were 2 or more sources bookmarked for every highlighted item. So, if you want to be proficient, then use only 2 sources. If you want to go above that, more than 2 sources. So 2 sources is the minimum requirement. If you are shooting for that A, you want more than 2 sources. And forgive me for a moment, I'm just going to answer a question and we'll get back on track. Okay, was a definition created for each term based on the sources provided? Okay, proficient is a basic definition, so one that doesn't really put forth that much effort to come up with. An exceptional one is concise definition with that example that I asked for. So you're going to have a concise, well thought, critical thinking, outside the box definition with an example. Cool? Awesome. This one right here is your time to use your creative skills. Right here, were statements submitted with the written document using 5 or more terms in context? So what I'm looking for is that you're taking at least 5 of those vocabulary terms and you are writing statements to give me an idea that you know how to apply these terms and you understand them. Now, it's your time to be creative, and I've seen every which way. I've seen the spoken word, I've seen a rap, I've even seen scripts. I've seen mini scripts written with uh, terms that were used for this assignment. So what does that mean? That just this is your this is your time to shine. It's your little piece of this assignment that you get to put yourself into. Um, so it's up to you what you want to do with it. It could be any one of those. It could be really well written paragraph. It could be a short story. It could be a poem. It could be any one of those things. The choice is yours. Okay, and then grammar and spelling is part of the rubric, and then did this mission include all the required elements? So You just want to make sure that you're using the correct naming conventions for files, which will be standard for every assignment throughout the entire program. And that's this right here. This is the naming conventions for files. It's your last name underscore first name underscore assignment name. Again, this is standard for the entire program, and it really is for your benefit. It's easy to find the files and access the files. So if you get into this habit, you'll have no problem the entire program. And to answer your question, Anthony, sorry, yes, it's 5 or more of the terms, and that is up to you how many you want to use. I will tell you, if you are shooting for the A plus, you want to use more than the minimum of 5. But if you want to use all of them, more power to you. I've seen that before too. So it depends on time, and it depends on how ambitious you are. Okay, so just to go over it quickly again to wrap everything up, and then I'm gonna take your questions. Um, each of the terms need a section along with your own definition example. Each of the terms needs 2 or more sources underneath, and you have to create all this in a list called DGL vocabulary, which when you create your bookmark, it's going to ask you what list do you want to add it to. And if you create your first list the first time, it's going to be right there. Okay, and that's all you'll have to do and save. Oops, bad. Okay, so you need a section header, 2 more resources, a DGL vocabulary list, and those statements of understanding using 5 or more vocabulary terms. Does this sound doable, class? Awesome. Very, very cool. Very cool. Okay, so last thing that you need to know is how to submit this. Whatever Word document application that you have, all you need is to create a blank document, and what I need is the student's name, so your name, your student ID number, and the URL link to your geo. And then you could put the statements of understanding right underneath. All on one document is preferable. It makes everything nice, neat, and organized where I could find everything. So what I would need is when it asks for the URL of your list, all you would do is go into your list, go right up to this bar right here, and oops, highlight it, copy, let me get back to my Word document, and paste. Okay, so that's gonna give me the link to your URL, the link to your Digo list rather, and that's all I need. And this is what you are going to submit through the FSO platform. So your name, ID number, the URL link to your Digo list, and the statements of understanding with 5 or more of those terms. So, oh, my 2 bars in the way, sorry. So what you would do is save as, and it's your last name underscore first name, oops, and this is assignment 1.5. We'll put this on my desktop, save it. Let me show you where that goes. A lot of things open, forgive me. Okay, there's the document. If you have a MacBook, all you have to do is right click on it. This control panel. Okay. Right click on it. Then it says compress 1.5. It shows up as a zip file. This is the file that you are going to submit. If you have a PC, then you recommend right click using your mouse on the PC, and the same functionality as the compress your file, and it will give you the zip. If you forget and you need a refresher, if you oh, I'm sorry, my audio is still going out. Can you hear me? Still can't hear. Okay. Where did you not hear? Okay, after you compress the file, then all you have to do is go onto your platform, the activities, go into the assignments, and this might be different. Hold on. Go into the assignment. All you'll have to do is click on the assignment, and then where it has drag and drop, this is not going to be here. This is only here because it's my side, but you will drop and drag and drop your file into that on your platform and hit submit. And that's all I need. Then you're done. Okay, so that, okay, Anthony, you have your hand up. Let me unmute you. Hey, Anthony, how are you?
Hey, good. Yeah. Just a quick question. If for the statements of understanding, if we did want to do a like a script, like a short story or something, can we submit that separately, or does it have to be attached to that document? Will you take it separate, or
Oh no, of course I will take it separate.
okay,
I
okay,
just I usually give that tip for convenience cuz not everyone does like an extra added thing. So it's easy just to write statements on the one document, but absolutely you can submit another document.
okay, great. And it's basically just some kind of creative writing that has, 5 plus of the vocabulary words in it in context, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I look forward to it. You got me excited now.
Oh, why is that? Well, I don't know if I'll have time to do a script, but I'll try.
Sweet. Cool.
Thank you.
Any other questions? That was a good question, Anthony. Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? Are you sure? Are you shy? Okay, this no, nope, no ma'am. Does that mean that I did an excellent job and was clear and you absolutely know what to do and you're all going to make A's? Excellent. And Julio, absolutely not. Both things are not due Wednesday. What's due Wednesday night is only the initial post for your digital identity. So the first part is for you to create who you are in the digital realm. And the second part is that the discussion board is open until Sunday night at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. And that second part is to give your peers constructive feedback or insightful thoughts or questions to carry on the conversation. So the second part is to give um, your peers stuff to read and absorb and be inspired by so you can interact on the discussion board. So the only thing that's due Wednesday is your initial post. Everything else is due by Sunday. 1.5 is due completed by Sunday, and then the interaction with at least 2 of your classmates is due by Sunday. Cool. Anthony, do you have another question? I saw your hand go back up. Okay, Julio, you're asking about the digital native work. Does that mean the digital identity you're talking about? Okay. Um, have you been on the platform, Julio? If you go on the platform, I've actually posted the example of mine. So if you go into the class discussion, it's going to give you an idea of what you can do with this. And one of your other classmates have already posted as well. So it gives you a rundown what you have to include in both your post and how you give you an example of how you can illustrate your identity. Does that make sense? Beautiful. And you'll see, maybe not tonight, but probably by tomorrow sometime, there's most likely going to be many more posts And I encourage you to go in there and look at what your peers are doing, and it's gonna help you in trying to decide how you should approach this activity and give you some ideas. So cool. Mariah, can we display our digital identities through a short video? Absolutely. Please do. Please do. Absolutely. I want you guys to celebrate in your craft and what you do. So use the tools and technology and devices that you feel most comfortable with and shine. Okay, guys, I just wanna give you a heads up because it's difficult to do the chat box and speak clearly as well. So, those of you that are concerned about coming in a little bit later and missing half of the lecture, these sessions are recorded, and as soon as the recording renders, I'll post it to my YouTube channel and then post it on the community discussion board. And most likely because of um, how long it takes to render a video, it should be up by tomorrow morning. So you'll have every opportunity to look back at this entire session. Even though those that were here the entire session, it's also there for you to refresh or refer to. So no worries if you didn't get here on time because of work or whatever. Um, it's always going to be on the community discussion board for you to refer. And Mariah, I'm so excited that you're enthused and I look forward to your submission. Um, Anthony, I believe it's the platform could hold 100 megabytes. So you want to work on compression as much as possible if you are doing a movie file. Um, if you are doing a movie file, you also want to publish it to a site such as YouTube or Vimeo, a place where it's hosted so you can embed it in the discussion board, as I have done here. Cool? Cool. And I say that a lot. I just want to preface that. I say cool a lot, but it's my way to get to know that you guys are on the same page, which is cool. So, I know that you all have a lot to do, and it is the very beginning of your journey here. I want to thank you all for keeping me company this evening. I love that we get to be with each other and interact. Hopefully, the next time there'll be some more of you that feel more comfortable in speaking. I know that the microphone is a little intimidating, trust me. When I watch these recording backs, I'm like, oh my god, how do my students listen to me? Listen to that voice. Oh my god. But we're all family here. We're all here to have very similar goals. It's comfortable. So please share. Go on the discussion boards and share your insights. Share what inspires you and motivates you. I look forward to learning with you this month. Know that I'm here to help you, so please do not hesitate to contact me and ask me questions. I'm here to help you. I know that there's a duality to starting something brand new like this. You're excited like a 5-year-old on Christmas morning, and you're anxiety ridden as well because you don't know what to expect. But know that that's where I come in. That's where your peers come in, and create a community of support. Oh my god, that's a loaded question, Anthony. What's my favorite film of all time? That's crazy. There's so many. Um, oh man, that's so crazy. I will tell you, I'll give you, yeah, it's very hard to pick one. It's just like eating one potato chip. You can't just have one. Um, I will tell you that there's different genres. Um, one of my favorite like feeler movies that actually brought so much emotion out is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but Powder. It was a movie about an albino boy, and it was just it was intense. It was intense. So I will say anything that makes me feel, whether it makes me cry hysterical or it makes me so angry that I want to strangle the lead character, or it makes me extremely happy and motivated. Um, just anything that makes me feel. Another movie that did that to me, I could not get off the couch for about 2 hours after it closed, was 7 Pounds. 7 Pounds destroyed me emotionally. um, I, I, it took me a while. It took me a while to get my bearings back. That movie was so intense, so intense. And Anthony, it's so worth it. You have to see it. You have to rent it. It might even be on Netflix. So I would try that out. Um, Great writers and actresses. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Um, I just had another. Oh, and I have to say one of my thought-provoking movies was Crash. Crash was one of my favorites, I think. If you ever heard of that one. But my good pupils, I know that, oh my god, you never seen Crash. Chelsea, you have to see Crash. That is homework for you for this week. You need to rent that movie. And you too, Anthony. It seems like you have a list now. But I know that you have a lot to do. I'm here if you need me. Contact me, email, message, or call, whatever you need. But I bid you a very good night. Get some rest, relax, celebrate the fact that you're in LA Film School and you're actually here and you're doing it. So, um, I will wish you a good night, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Yes, Chelsea, yay you. You should celebrate. Have a good night, all, and once again, this will be on the community discussion board for your convenience. And thank you guys for the kind words. That's really sweet.